Hello, everybody. We are back for another season. If you aren't tired of seeing our faces after last season, we are back for another one of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series League. I'm Brandon Hauff. That's Michael Massie. Um, Tonight was the season opener of the league for season 6 at Talladega with the COT. Mike, just briefly talk about your race because that's about, unfortunately, how long it was.
Yeah, me talking about right now is longer than the race was.
Yeah.
But on a note, it was unrestricted.
Unrestricted, yes.
Didn't have restrictor plates or taper space or anything. So we were running 240 miles per hour in the draft. It was wild. You had to lifting at Talladega, which is against everything I was ever taught. But but yeah, it was a fun race. I was in Phoenix this weekend for championship week, so I didn't have enough time to really get the handle. So didn't really get to practice it till right before the race, and it was a handful. And the thing jumped up early on me, and I got in the wall, spun out, lost 2 laps. I thought I was gonna go green the rest of the way, or go green a long ways. So kind of once I was out of contention, I just kind of pulled it all in. But well, it ended up being a little bit of a wreck fest. So
Yeah.
I probably could have got my laps back and been back in it, but oh well. Hindsight. I
Eh,
wanted to make sure that the fans got a grade A production for this post race show. So I sacrificed my finish for you guys out there watching. So you're welcome.
we got a wide awake Michael Massey now instead of a dead half asleep after a 3 hour race after being out west all weekend. But shout out to our Frontstretch crew. You guys did a great job out in Phoenix as
Thanks.
usual.
Thanks.
But anyway, our winner tonight was Garrett Smithley, scored his 4th career M&R win. And now we're gonna go to our interview. We sat down with Garrett right after the victory and check it out.
So now we're welcome to the program, Mr. Garrett Smithley, the winner himself. I heard on the broadcast it was your 4th career M&R win. Where does this one rank in your wins so far, would you say?
I think it's got to be P1, right? I mean, to win the season opener, it's my favorite car combo. Well, not necessarily combo, but my favorite car in iRacing. It's still a blast at Talladega going 140 miles per hour in the draft, and to be locked into the playoffs now, it definitely feels good. And I think it probably feels better since last season was such a disaster. So definitely a huge relief to get that one done for sure.
Yeah, for sure. 240 in the draft, by the way. Hey,
Is it?
you said
Wait, what did
one.
I say?
You said 140.
Oh yeah, we're not Miatas. We're not doing Miatas.
Oh.
240, yes,
Now that would be a
240.
pack race right there.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of the pack race, you guys with the COT and Talladega and iRacing, with as fast as you guys are going, it's kind of difficult to maintain that large pack that we usually see at super speedways with like 30, 35 cars. You guys were kind of single file a lot of the night. You had your double file racing throughout the pack, but it was only like probably a pack of like 20, and then you guys would get split up. Take us through what your vantage point was all night. I know you found yourself at the front, obviously, as we wound down the race and obviously wound up in victory lane. But take us through how it was getting through the field, passing, handling all night. I know all of it came into play.
Yeah, I didn't really put down a good qualifying lap. I qualified 20th, and so I had to start deep in the field. I knew that once the race got going, I was hoping that it was going to play out the way it did for that first run. I think we went 37 laps, ended up doing a green flag pit stop, which was cool. I always love doing those, but I knew that it was going to be spread out. So I tried to manage that gap and make my way to the top 15. And I was riding for a little bit, and then I actually can I speak? Actually got caught up in a single car spin, and I had to use my reset right away for that first pit stop. So I felt like that I was in a perfect spot to manage. I was right behind that big pack, but it was kind of singled out. So it was just calm enough that I didn't think anything was going to happen. Obviously, the caution came out, bunched everybody up, and all the strategy kind of went out the window because we had, long little green flag runs because the caution kept coming out, unfortunately. And then my crew chief, he made a really, really good call to stay out on I think it was like lap 70 or something like that. We couldn't make it the rest of the way, but we knew that we had only run 4 or 5 laps on our tires. So we felt pretty confident that we could stay up front, and that's what happened. Basically, it played out exactly the way we had planned. We stayed out, got in the top 5, maintained that top 5 position, and then the caution came out like 10 laps later. That put us perfect in our window. We knew everybody that pitted before had to pit again, so it brought everybody else to pit road, and we got our tires, and then from that point forward, we knew that we were full send from that point. And then fortunately, it worked out the way it did.
That's rare, right? Everything to just go according to plan like
I'm
that.
telling
I
you,
was just
like
gonna say that.
last season was such disaster that like I feel like this is like the iRacing gods blessing me with good luck for once, kind of making up for everything that happened last season.
Well, hey,
Now, like you mentioned, now
like
like you mentioned, he could just coast.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Hey, sounds like you need to go play that Powerball the way tonight's going.
Has anybody won it yet? Because
No, it's like
No.
was
is
like
it still okay?
1.9
Well,
billion
I'm gonna go get some tomorrow for sure.
billion with a B, by the way.
Exactly, exactly.
Player numbers, they might work
Hey, that's
at
true.
this rate.
Yeah.
So the lottery system gives us no money for this show here. So, but if you want to, lottery people, we will take it.
Yeah, go ahead. Be our
Garrett,
guest.
what races are you looking forward to now? Now you can just go out and go for the wins and not worry about points, right?
Yeah, shoot, I wasn't prepared for that question. I don't even know
Well,
what we have. I
You could
was
say all of them.
we're at Twin Ring next week.
oh, hang on, I just pulled
Parker.
it up. So, I'm not, I'll be honest with you, I hate the ARCA car, so I'm not
Really?
looking forward to that at all. Um, anything NASCAR and big track, so like Xfinity at Legacy, Texas is gonna be a blast. The 87 car, I love the 87 car. That at Auto Club is gonna be a blast. Super late models at Richmond's going to be a little bit interesting. Trucks at Chicago. I will say Chicago is probably one of my favorite mile and a half tracks.
Oh, it's
And
so fun.
back in 2011, 2012, when I wasn't racing full time, I was still in legend cars and doing Rich Pay driving experience. Trucks at Chicago was my absolute favorite combo. So I will say that Trucks at Chicago, which happens to be the cutoff for the championship week, I think I'm most looking forward to that race for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love Chicago too. It doesn't matter what car you take there. It's
I
pretty,
love it. So fun.
Such an underrated track.
Yes.
yeah. Bring it back. Bring
I
it
wish
back.
listen, I wish we still went there in real life because that was always so much fun. So hopefully one day, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Just
Uh,
real quick, Garrett, just take us through what the mindset is now. Like you said, like I said, you can coast to basically the playoffs. Basically run any race you want the way you want to run it. Instead of having to race for points and needing a win. Now you have that win compared to last season where it just seemed like nothing went right. I remember there was every single week, it felt like you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now here you are, you start off the season with a win. I mean, just take us through the mindset now. I mean, you got basically the entire winter to just relax. And then we get to like December, January, and then, a month and a half from now, then it'll ramp up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got an incredibly busy off season. I'm planning on I potentially might be in Pensacola this weekend for an appearance. I'm going to Colorado for Christmas to see my brother. Taking a family trip, going up to Kentucky to see family, Pennsylvania to see family with my parents, and so it's funny in all the travels that I'm doing, I already have like plans mapped out to where I'm going to race these races. So like I've already called ahead to a buddy of mine in Kentucky over by Louisville. I think D Natters, I think everybody knows D Natters. He's doing a bunch of creative stuff for a bunch of the iRacing community. But he did my paint scheme this week. I think I'm gonna go on his rig when I'm in Dallas before I go to Colorado. So I've got all these plans. It's funny. I don't think it was last season, but the follow or the season prior, I did one of the races at an esports arena in Honolulu, Hawaii, because I was there for an appearance with Rickware Racing. So So that was first. That was my first mindset, to make sure that I had rigs everywhere that I went. But yeah, to your point, now that I have this win, I think it's just going to be coast. I'm not going to let off. I'm still going to go for wins, right? There's nothing better than winning, especially in iRacing, winning in this league in particular. I mentioned in my interview that this is probably, besides the Pro Invitational that we did for COVID, this is probably the absolute most competitive thing that I've ever done on iRacing. And it sometimes rivals it, because these guys, some of them are like full-time sim racers. That's all they do. So so it's really gratifying to get the win, and I'm going to continue pushing myself, especially at these places that I'm not super comfortable with. ARCA at Twin Ring, like next week, I'm probably going to be terrible. IndyCar, that's probably the one that I'm least looking forward to out of the entire schedule. For some reason, I can't get on my own way in IndyCars, and especially at Indianapolis. So I'm probably going to push myself to make myself better on those combos that I'm not good at. But at the end of the day, we're all still competitors. We all still want to go for wins. So yes, I'm comfortable in knowing that I'm going to go into the playoffs, but still need to keep that momentum up and still try to go for wins week in and week out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congrats on the win tonight, and yeah, have safe travels. Sounds like you're traveling more this off season than the NASCAR season.
Michael, I tell people all the time that I feel that I'm busier in the off season than I am during the season. At least during the season, I know what I'm doing every week. For the off season, I don't necessarily know, because it's it's I'm all over the place. But huge shout out to BJ McLeod Motorsports giving me the opportunity to go full time next year in the 78 car. We debuted that, as I said, in MNR, so got to take the 78 to victory lane virtually. Hopefully, we can do the same thing next year at Daytona. That would be awesome. But Trophy Tractor is always a big supporter, and Black Draft Distillery. We got some really cool, exciting partners that we're going to announce, and going to be a part of Monday Night Race League. That's another cool thing that Ford and Matt Stolnick and everybody else that's involved in putting this deal together. It gives real life racers opportunities to take our sponsors virtually and give them an opportunity to kind of give them some extra exposure. So kudos to those guys for putting this deal together, and stay tuned. We got some exciting stuff this winter for sure.
Cool. And just imagining a victory lane with BJ McLeod in it is.
Oh my gosh!
That's
Oh, that'd be
everything, right?
incredible, dude.
It's legendary. I mean, would go down in history for sure. So
For sure. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, and
Thanks, Garrett.
congrats again on the win. Looking forward to racing with you all season long.
awesome. Thank you, guys.
Garrett's victory, I don't. It seemed like he kind of emerged late and kind of stole it at the end. Don't you think, Brandon? It seemed like some other guys like Chase Cabry, Anthony Alfredo, those guys really had control of it.
Yeah, Alfredo, I know, got up front after a while. I think it was like lap 80. I looked up and he was up front. I know Colin was up front after being out in the back. Shieldhouse, David, he was up front most of the night. Even after speeding, he got up front. Led a lot of the race. Ryan Vargas, he was up there. We had a lot of players, and I just think the way the race played out, especially with all the cautions at the end, it was kind of like a crapshoot where, you know, as long as you survived, and you had a good car and you felt confident in the way you could drive it, because I know it was a little different than many people are used to driving Talladega. You were going to be there at the end, and Garrett just came out of nowhere, kind of positioned himself in the right spot and got by David and won the race. So good for him. I know he had a lot of struggles last season, as he spoke about. So happy for him to get the win and lock himself into the playoffs.
Yeah, and so one thing that kind of altered a little bit of the ending of the race was it was the final round of pit stops. Gary Sexton took 2 tires, I believe. Everybody else took 4, and he got himself the lead. But the problem was, once it went by green, he pushed up the track. I don't know if it was something to do with Adam Cabot coming down behind him, or I don't remember exactly what happened, but Gary drifted up a little and clipped Alfredo, and that caused a big accident. Took out a lot of guys, but the bigger highlight was after that. Apparently there was some beef between Anthony Alfredo and Will Rodgers, and it ended with Will Rodgers, just like his team, the Space Station Gaming, sent Anthony Alfredo to the moon. So yeah,
sponsor plug.
Yeah, exactly. But we caught up with both guys. So first, let's talk to Anthony about what happened from his side, and then we'll hear from Will Rodgers about his side. You know, you need two sides to every story, so let's go to that now. All right, so we're now joined by NASCAR Xfinity Series regular Anthony Alfredo. Anthony, you were very much a threat in this race until an incident at the end took you out. I was shocked you still made your way back up to a top 10 finish. How'd you feel about the night?
I was pretty happy with it. Obviously, Pro Accelerate was a title sponsor, and they're a great partner of mine on the real life track and the virtual track. So we had our Pro Accelerate Chevy dialed in, got it to the front of the field, led a bunch of laps tonight, and we're up front with just a few laps to go, and unfortunately got turned. Came back from that wreck to end up 8th. So I obviously wanted more out of the night, but that was as far as I could get in 2 laps from 25th. So it really wasn't that bad considering that obviously wanted to win, and came out of the gate swinging last year with a win. I think we've won like all the last handful of super speedway races. So that streak comes to an end, but still fun nonetheless to get another season underway.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what exactly happened there? It looked like, did Gary push up into you? What happened from your vantage point?
Yeah, he shot up the track. I think Adam was kind of cleared himself quick low. He was clear, but Gary probably wasn't sure it was close. So he jabbed the brake, it looked like, and he shot up the track into me and hooked me, and then the field piled into me. And I was going to drive back around to fix my car, but I got intent wrecked under yellow, which, you know, I was destroyed anyway, so whatever. But when that happened, I went flying into the sky and into another dimension, and then reappeared on pit road and had to tow for 4 minutes. So that was disappointing, but thankfully we got our laps back. And like I said, we only had 2 laps to really make something happen at the end of that green, white checkered. And we still got a top 10 out of it. So we'll take it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the moon was like, because, you know, I've never been there. It's pretty cool. You got to travel.
Yeah, it was pretty scenic, pretty scenic.
Yeah. What was the deal? I didn't understand why Will was mad at you or anything.
Yeah, me neither. It's a great question. I mean, there's the same people are notorious for those kinds of things in this league. Some of us take it serious, some of us don't. But my wheel was upside down like this because after I got wrecked, this like whole car was broken. So I was crab walking and I couldn't control where I was going. I was just trying to go slow around the apron. And I barely tapped him because he was coming down the track slowing down. His car was already destroyed. So then he ran into the back of me, which because he was mad at me, and then he wasn't satisfied, so he destroyed it to straight up take me out. But nothing new. Picking up where we left off in this league. Bunch of hooligans out here ruining the fun for a lot of us other ones who try to enjoy it. But some of us have real sponsors we want to make proud, and especially when they're supporting the race, and we can't do that when people think it's just a gimmick.
Yeah. Can you see yourself getting them back, or are you just gonna forget about it?
No. I mean, because I don't want to ruin the fun for everyone else like those guys do. So I take it seriously for myself, my partners, the people who watch me stream it, and you know, I'm not going to stoop to their level by any means. I'm sure the series and the directors will handle it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And then what'd you think about that combo? It was basically a car tomorrow, unrestricted, Talladega. Where would you rank that, like, in your favorite combos or whatever?
I really enjoyed it till all those cautions in the middle of the race. Like that first long green flag run we had with the green flag stop was exciting. It kind of felt like just running an intermediate track, honestly, in like the Xfinity car or something, because you actually had to lift on corner entry, pedal the car a bit, and take care of your tires. So it was probably a lot of single file for the fans, but there was a lot of strategy going on. I think if we didn't run so many laps under caution, the race would have been really interesting at the end, because I was kind of on an off cycle strategy from everyone else, saving a set of tires for later, which didn't matter in the end because there were so many pace laps. Everyone ended up having the same set. But I think if we had a lot more green flag racing, it could have been very interesting. So hopefully we do it again in the future. It was a little bit longer, but you're going 250 miles an hour almost into the corner, so the laps burn by pretty quick under green.
Yeah. The key is under green, right?
Yeah, under green. Yeah, pacing never good.
Yeah. I'll send you out on this one. What combo do you think will be your next best threat to go get the W coming up?
Whatever comes next. I think all of them.
Good answer. Well, it's been great having you on. Look forward to racing against you. I crashed out early in this one, so hopefully I'll actually get to race against you some more. But yeah, I'll let you get back to it.
Sounds good.
Have an awesome night.
Thank you as well.
All right, I am here with Will Rodgers, driver of the Space Station Machine tonight. How'd your race go tonight, Will? I know you're caught up in some stuff, and for the most part, everybody was tonight. So just kind of take us through what you saw all night long.
Yeah, it was a long night. A really, really long, almost like 3-hour race. So I'm a little burnt out from that, but overall, it was kind of a hectic one. 115 or some odd laps at Talladega with those cars is a lot of laps to get in, and let alone try to race it without crashing a bunch, which of course that happened. This series is pretty notorious for that. At least a lot of these guys are trying to go all out right away, and luckily I think we had some green flag laps early, but then it just bred cautions after that, and it was kind of all out the window. I was part of that definitely once or twice. I feel like I avoided a lot. I saved my quick repair until about 25 laps to go, and then I said, screw it, I'm going to try to take it and get back to the front, and I did roll all the way up to like 10th or something, and kind of was just biding my time, but everybody was, running really hard, and I ended up getting into it. But me and my buddies, Corey Heim and Christian Eckes, we were in the same Discord just having a blast all night. I mean, some of it was frustrating. A lot of it was fun. We're laughing, joking around. So that was cool. But, the racing, I don't know, maybe not so much.
Well, we got to get into that frustrating part, because I believe there, as the kids call it these days, there's a beef. What happened? Anthony didn't understand either. I know that wreck happened. Gary pushed up into him. It caused a big wreck. But then shortly afterwards, we saw you send Anthony to the moon. What happened there?
Honestly, I have no idea what happened. That should become a signature move, though, being able to send somebody to the moon. I think that's pretty sweet. It wasn't necessarily intentional send him to the moon. I was trying to just spin him around and be like, hey, dude, what the heck? So, I'm wrecked and don't have a fast car or what have you. I'm just hanging on, and we get into that caution, and I don't know what happened. I had no idea. But I seen a car, I guess it was Anthony Hauff, spun around and doing something or other. And then I was minding my own business, riding in line. And out of nowhere, I got this car on my left rear, like hitting me. It hit me once or something, and I got loose, and it was okay, not a big deal. But I got like a 4X out of it, so I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And then I seen it was Anthony, and nobody's given anybody. At least there are a few of these guys in the series that don't get any slack. And it's me, it's Anthony, it's Fern, it's Gabe Wood, and maybe like one or two other guys. And I was like, bro, I'm not going to get hit under caution. Are you kidding me? And he's all like skewed out because his rear end's broken or whatever. So I just spin him around, and then I guess he got sent to the space station. And he was upset, I guess. And there were some words back and forth, and you know how it goes. So it's I don't know. There's no beef, honestly. I just didn't want to take any crap. So that's it.
That's what I was gonna say, is like, that works out for space station gaming, right? Is that in your signature move?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wish I had a signature move called the space station, because that would be pretty cool if I could just hit that button on my keyboard and tap somebody and they go whoosh, that would be pretty fun.
Y'all gotta add that on your team. Everybody just needs like a hotkey right there.
Yeah, the space station hotkey, I like it. That'd be cool. But it's race 1 of the season. There's a little bit of drama or whatever. And for me, I don't carry a weekend or race to race, but I'm sure some people will, and we'll see more drama throughout the season. It's a lot of races to go. So
sure. Yeah, you guys head to Twin Ring next week, Twin Ring Motegi. I'm not sure if you guys have raced there before in the league or not. But that is kind of an obscure track, I guess you can call it. Just because you guys don't race there very often. And I know iRacing doesn't in their official series either. kind of take us through what your approach is going to be next week. I know the ARCA cars, right? You guys are going to be running those. Just kind of take us through what you're expecting, what your expectations are, kind of who you think maybe will be your biggest competition. Just kind of take us through all that.
Yeah, so I did compete. My first ever Monday night race was maybe season 2, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I was invited to do it, and that was my first race with some of the original guys, and it was my twin Motegi in the Indy cars, and I can remember that race was almost just as long as tonight because there were so many cautions. I got flipped upside down like 3 times. I ended up landing on pit road and like all this other stuff, and it was comical, but I'm sure this time around it'll be a little bit better, especially in the ARCA car. I'd say, you know, strategy is always the same. Just try to stay out of the mess and try to, you know, rebound late. But I think biggest competition there is going to be James Bickford. You know, there's no bigger tryhard in Monday night racing than James Bickford. And I say
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, some people can take it as a compliment. You know, he's a really good buddy of mine, so I don't necessarily have to give him compliments when I say that kind of stuff. But you know, he'll probably be on the pole, P2, P3, something like that, and try hard all night. And you know, Colin Fern's going to throw a fit and be really fast too. And there's going to be some other guys.
Colin throwing a fit?
Yeah,
never seen it in my life.
Yeah, but James will probably be the guy to beat because I was on iRacing. I haven't been on iRacing a lot lately, but jumped on there with him and Joey Paget and our buddy Reed, and we were doing some laps there. They threw up a hosted session, so we did some ARCA car there. It's going to be a fun race. I think it's going to mix the field up a little bit, but yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, glad you made it out in one piece tonight. I guess, sort of. So
I guess. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is before I took my quick repair, or maybe no, after I took my quick repair, I got put in the fence. I actually flipped like 7 times, barrel rolled, and then it landed back on all 4s, and I finished the race like that. So, yeah, somehow, some way, kind of in one piece.
Yeah, you know, you still finished the race, so you can say you finished the entire thing, all 3 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But
that was an endurance race there.
Yeah, right. But glad you have you on, Will. Thanks for joining us. And good luck next week and the rest of the season.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. So there you have it. You heard both sides. Obviously, you know, people are heated in the moment, so it'll happen. But you know, we thank Will, Anthony, and Garrett for joining us tonight. We will be back next week for our next recap show. As we've mentioned in the interviews, it is a Twin Ring Motegi with the ARCA Menard Series cars. Tune in 8 p.m. Eastern, Podium Esports. We will be live again directly after the race. We will interview probably the race winner, and we'll have 2 more guests for you guys. So thanks for watching. I'm Brandon Hauff. That's Michael Massie. We'll see you guys next week.
This is Timmy Hill, driver of the 56 Toyota. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also check out one of those videos beside me and visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.